If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
Welcome back to another episode of Player Performance. I am your favorite capper, J.A. Cavalier. NBA Player Performance on a Thursday. It is January 9th. As you guys can tell, with me, Shark and Luke Shuey, the prop master. Look, I'm not going to ask you guys how you doing. We just spent 5 minutes off camera all going through that shit, and they don't care. They just want the picks, and that's why we're here. You know, give you guys free picks, set you up for the NBA card, making you guys smarter players along the way, giving you all the information you need to beat the books, and we're going to get right into it. First, guys, of course, make sure you hit the like button. Appreciation, always appreciated. Smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Jay Cavalier, Shark, Luke Shuey, free picks, no fluff. Right into it right now. First game up, we have the Toronto Raptors traveling to Cleveland, take on the Cavaliers. Cavaliers are now down to 14.5. Total here set at 235.5. The reason for the drop, of course, is there's going to be no Donovan Mitchell tonight. I had leaned the Raptors in this spot, even with Mitchell in, so it only helps me. Shark, you have an official play on this. Who are you on?
Yeah, I'm leaning significantly towards the Raptors in this game. And, I'm not telling you guys anything crazy. The biggest regular season in the last decade plus in terms of record quality happened last night in Cleveland. Cleveland 129, Oklahoma City 122. It's really hard to come back the next night off that effort with emphasis and cover a 14 or 15 point spread. And we've actually already seen this once this season for Cleveland in this precise environment. Go back to November 8th. They blew out the Warriors at home. Of course, Western Conference opponent 136-117. The following night, they laid a huge figure to Brooklyn in conference bottom feeder, minus 12.5, and really struggled in the game. Had to come back late in the fourth quarter to win tight 105-100. And Toronto ultimately is a great team to buy ATS. This team is terrible straight up, 8-29. This coach probably getting fired after the season, but they are 6-1 ATS, second leg back-to-back. Did not cover last night in New York. Double revenge game. Already 0-2 ATS against Cleveland this year. Great spot to buy Toronto. Take them at 14.5. Let's cash this one.
Now, actually, I pushed on the Raptors last night. I did have a small play on them, but I did, again, caught the best of the number. I did catch that at 14, ended up pushing the game. But you're right. This is the spot where you typically want to take Toronto on the road as a double-digit dog. And I couldn't agree with the handicap anymore. This is absolutely a letdown spot for the Cavaliers after pretty much winning what could have been a finals game last night. All right, we're going to move on. Next up, we have the Golden State Warriors going from West Coast to East Coast. I guess it's East Coast. What is it, Midwest? Anyway, taking on Detroit in Motor City. They're going to take on the Pistons. The Pistons are on a back-to-back. Of course, we did have the Pistons last night, 10,000 moneyline parlay. Pistons, Milwaukee Bucks. Cash that shit. Pistons laying 2.5. Total here at 219.5. And who cares? We're on a prop. You see this kid. You know who he is. The prop master. We were obviously targeting a player in this game. Luke, who are you targeting?
And first off, thank you for that Pistons play last night. They just pissed all over Brooklyn's leg. It was ugly. No brainer there. Pistons.
Wait,
Bucks money.
when I created my new personal service channel, the first message I get is, "Hey boss, hey boss, hey boss, where's the new channel? Where's the new channel? Send me the link. Send me the link."
Dude, I'm a loyal follower and a colleague. I back your plays just like you do mine. Hopefully, I don't know. So to this game, I'm actually targeting Steph Curry. He comes into the game with a questionable tag, just like everyone and their brother this year. Half the time, it's hard to tell who's playing. I think Curry does suit up tonight, and I'm actually fading him in the rebounding category. So you look at his last 3 games, Curry's actually put up 6, 7, and 7 rebounds. That's a lot. That's higher than he normally does. And so his line's inflated all the way up to 5.5 tonight. I'm going on the under. Look at what he's done this season. He's averaging 4.9 rebounds per game. And through the month of December, he was all the way down to 3.7 rebounds per game. I don't think he's going to get on the boards tonight. And my favorite part about this play is they're playing the Pistons. Yeah, Detroit's solid. They're actually number 1 in the NBA at limiting opposing point guards in rebounding category. Why is that? It's Cade Cunningham. He's a beast of a point guard. He's one of the best in the NBA, and he's big. I mean, if he's guarding Curry, he's not going to let him get easy rebounds tonight. So if Curry's in the lineup, count the prop master as cashing Steph Curry under 5.5 boards.
You know what? I'm actually going to tail that one. I'm actually more surprised. I didn't think they even posted fucking lines for Curry and rebounds. Fuck it. If they do, I'm going to tail it. Luke loves it. I like it. Anyway, Shark, I know you have a play. You and I had both agreed on this. We had talked earlier this morning, and we were both leaning towards Detroit. Now, are you making that an official play, or are you just still on the lean?
Yeah, ultimately, just like Luke said, we need to find the rosters with some sort of concrete nature here. I mean, Steph Curry, historical player here. We don't know if he's going to play. Of course, we hope he goes under in his rebounds market. A beautiful play that is. But if these rosters really go to the direction we want, do love Detroit here at -2. And I think that the standout point here, truthfully, is the fact that Detroit is favored over the Warriors. And we've talked about this, week after week with this show back in the fall. Here we are in January of 2025. But Detroit should not be favored over the Warriors. It should make your eyes light up. So what's going on here? This is really a great version of Detroit. Changed coaches in the offseason. This team has depth. They have new role players, Tobias Harris, Hardaway Jr., others, and they're competing great. 8-1 straight up in their last 9. I think we're all surprised to see that. Warriors on the road at the East, only 3 games. I think maybe not coincidentally for this handicap, only non-cover at the East within this division at a +3 figure at Cleveland. So not traveling well to this portion of the country, this division on this line figure. And the last time Detroit was favored over the Warriors, it was actually January 4th, 2020, going back about 5 years pre-COVID, interestingly enough. And they did cover that spread. It's been 5 years. It's historically strong. It's a 2x revenge game. Dubs got them both last year. Last time these teams played, Golden State -10.5 at home. This comes all the way across to 3-point favorite. Absolutely strong line. I have Detroit to win this game by 14 points if the rosters do play into where we need them to be.
Yep. So you guys are gonna have to wait to see how many of those Q tags come off and actually hit court. If so, I'll probably tail this one. I might get to the window with Detroit, maybe a little same game parlay, a little Detroit money line, Steph under 5.5 rebounds. What could go wrong? All right, we're going to travel up to what is the nationally televised game, the biggest play on the card today. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Orlando Magic. Minnesota's now laying 5.5. Total is down to 199.5. And you guys already know. You already know. Ow! I am all over the Minnesota Timberwolves. I actually bet this last night at 4.5. Guys, I have 5 dimes on it, ticket already in pocket. I will post that for everybody. This is all me right here. I'm on the Timberwolves. I'm on the Timberwolves big. Look, I get it. Defense wins championships. But this is basketball. Basketball is an offensive game. You have to put the ball in the little round circle. Open sesame. It doesn't work. You need shooters. Orlando doesn't have the horses. They're starting 5 last game. Not one player had double-digit score. It was a double-digit scorer. And okay, I get it. Banchero now probably back in the lineup, game time decision. But who gives a shit? He's not Houdini. He isn't going to make this offense magically appear. First game back, minutes restriction, disruption to chemistry. In fact, we're getting the best value on this number because of Banchero's upgrade. Give me the Wolves. Give me the Wolves big. Lay the 4.5. Lay the 5.5. I'm good with this up to 6.5. I'll take this at anything under 7. I think the Timberwolves win this game in a big, big way. Next up. So it's a little breather after that, right? Next up, we have the Portland Trailblazers taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Shark, you have a play on Portland in this game. Well, the Mavericks are laying 7.5, total at 220.5. I know we both kind of like Portland in this game, Shark, but you're official on the Blazers here?
Still working on it. Ultimately, I think there's a couple moving parts in this game. Of course, the theme of this show and this season, and we mentioned this in the fall, but it's really hard to cap these games sometimes without knowing who's playing. Of course, Doncic out, Kyrie's out. Portland on a back-to-back completely heat-checked the gym in New Orleans last night, up 30 early. Portland has actually performed quite well in the last two seasons with this roster on the second leg of a back-to-back. It's all energy. Sometimes they reserve energy, sometimes they don't. I think ultimately when you get up 30, they coasted the second half. This team's going to be fresh tonight, more so than you would expect on a back-to-back second leg. Fourth matchup of the year, which is actually very nice, considering a lot of these matchups in January are out of conference. These teams haven't played in like a year. Fourth one of the year. Portland has played the Mavericks tough. 6-point loss in December at home. Most recently, also in December late, the 28th, 126-122 Portland. Klay Thompson and these boys have showed out occasionally. They just hammered the Lakers. Did not look very good before without Doncic and Irving. I think ultimately Portland keeps this close tonight. You get it at +8 now. Very nice number. I would say we're definitely leaning towards the +8.
I actually played this game the same way I look at the Toronto Raptor game. The Mavericks without Kyrie, without Luka, after beating the Los Angeles Lakers, that was almost their championship game, right? Especially this squad, PJ Washington-led squad, without the two stars. Now you have the Portland Trailblazers. Who are the Blazers? I mean, like, really, who the fuck is Portland? So they're going to play down to the competition. And this is a pretty fat number against a team that's pretty pesky on the road. So I do like Portland in this spot. I agree with Shark and everything Shark said. But again, you want to wait on the Q tags. You want to see what happens with the laundry list. We're moving on to Houston traveling to Memphis. Rockets taking on the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are laying 1.5. It switched. It flipped. The Rockets were favored by 1.5. Now they're catching 1.5. Total here is at 233.5. I will say this. I'm waiting patiently for that laundry list, see who's ruled in and out. I'm sure Luke is as well, or maybe he already has his guy. I love the Grizzlies, and I love the Grizzlies early. I know Shark had agreed. We spoke about this earlier. But Luke, you're on a player prop in this game. Who do you like? Why do you like them?
Yeah, so with that laundry list, I am not going with the Grizzlies prop. It's just too hard to predict the market early in the day. And I'm not trying to give the followers something they can't take here reliably. So I'm going on the Rockets. I'm taking Jalen Green to go under 31.5 PRA. That's the points, rebounds, and assists combo line. And anyone that follows me and has followed Why Lose Props, I'm a big unders guy in general. Of course, we take overs when there's value. But in the NBA specifically, any analytics platform you look at loves unders because everyone takes the over. So again, here, I think Jalen Green, he's had a couple good games. Public plays the over. I'm going with a sharp fade under. And why is that? Green only averages 27.4 PRA on the year. That's a 4 full point PRA advantage on the line. And he's gone under this in 4 of the last 6 games. I think with all the Q tags on the Grizzlies, the odds makers are actually showing us that at least Ja Morant or Desmond Bane, one of them is going to play tonight. I think that helps make this game more physical, a little bit tougher to score, and I just think Green has a tough time racking it up. Rockets are going to have to spread the ball a little bit more. To get to this line, he'd have to put up 15, 20 points and about 10 to 15 assists and rebounds combined. Just don't see it happening. Lock and load, count me in for Jalen Green under 31.5 PRA.
Well, obviously, that would be correlated to a Grizzlies play, so I absolutely hope you're right on that. Guys, let me make this really clear. I need Bane and Ja in for me to get to this play, but if they are both ruled in late, I will absolutely be on Memphis early, probably Memphis often, maybe a Grizzlies first quarter and first half. I'm not going to touch the full game, especially first game back on extended time on the bench. That's really, going to show and wear down in the second half. So I would get to the Grizzlies early in that first quarter. We're going to move on to the next game, the Atlanta Hawks Phoenix Suns. Suns are laying 6. The total here is at 238.5. Nobody has an official play on this. Nobody gives a fuck. I mean, who gives a shit? It's Trae Young. Everybody hates Trae Young. We'll just leave it at that. Moving on. Miami Heat.
You skip right over his half court winner, don't you? The disrespect.
Luke, it's fucking Trey Young. Him and his receding hairline can eat a dick.
I'd have to agree with you.
All right, Miami Heat travels to Utah, take on the Jazz. The Heat are laying 5.5. The total here is at 222.5. As always, we start off our Heat reads with fuck Jimmy Butler. All right, and now we're moving on. I actually like the Heat early in this game. Shark, I know you have a play on the full game. Who do you like? Why do you like them?
Yeah, looking at Miami here at -5, 5.5, I think there's a little steam up to 6. I think for good reason here. This is just where I think Miami is finally settling in psychologically without Jimmy Butler. A lot of moving parts. The last time he played one of the worst games of his career, -27 in the plus minus, a blowout loss to Indiana. And then the game after, where I actually thought they would have played well, the Heat that is, against Utah at home on January 4th, Saturday night. A blowout loss, 136-100. So these are some of the best psychological spots you will find in an NBA regular season calendar. Close window revenge games where the wounds are still fresh. That was just an obliteration, and it was also a statistical outlier, which is so common in contemporary basketball. Utah plus 30 in the three-point gap. Bryce Sensabaugh, young player out of Ohio State, 7 for 11 from 3. That's not going to repeat. Miami historically has been great without Butler, just when he's sat for load management or general disinterest. Now he's being traded probably to Phoenix, we think. And this is where Miami has performed great without him at the West this year. 4-0 ATS if the game finished in regulation. Only non-cover, a double overtime non-cover tight at Sacramento a couple nights ago by 5 points. Revenge is huge. Miami will be focused. Great coach. Jay, you know it. This team has really a competitive drive at a super high level. They were just confused and held back by Butler. I think that's in the past. I think they revenge here. I love it at 5, 5.5 tonight.
Yeah, I can't talk you off it. Listen, one thing we'll always say about the Miami Heat, we're going to fight, we're going to play, we're going to get to loose balls, we're going to play on both ends of the court. We may fall short come the end of the game, but we're always going to put in that effort. I don't care about the Heat on back-to-back and the third game in 4 nights. That this is not a team that truly or ever affects. So I'm with you here on the Heat. I do like them more in the first quarter myself, maybe even the first half, but I would absolutely co-sign this play, Heat full game as well. Luke, you said you had a player prop, someone that you wanted to target in this game as well?
Yeah, I've got a bit of a lean. First off, I like you guys backing the Heat as your lean. I mean, Spoelstra always has the guys at least ready to make an effort. You have to bank on that. But I'm actually leaning towards betting on Haywood Highsmith today. Is that some degenerate shit? Yes,
No,
maybe.
listen. Well, you know what? Listen, for most listening that aren't in the state of Florida or aren't in South Florida, they can say who. But like Highsmith has been eating up a lot of what was Jimmy Butler's minutes, right? He's getting most of his usage, and even Stephen A had referenced Highsmith on his podcast, talking about Highsmith is getting more usage than Jimmy Butler. What? Yeah, he's a younger, more athletic fucking version. It's just what it is, man.
Dude, yeah, thank you. You took my write-up. I don't even have to say shit. But no, he's getting the most minutes of his career. He's playing a lot. He's actually shooting 42% from three-point land. The guy's getting opportunity. He played at Wheeling University, so no one knows him. But I'm taking him tonight. Let me just quote his lines correctly here. He has a 6.5 point prop line. Give me the over if you're taking that. And my analytics have him for 8 or more. You could even take his rebounds over 3.5. Or if you're really getting, a little bit frisky, his 3-point line over 1.5 is plus 165. I could see him hitting a couple threes because the most important thing here, no Jimmy Butler, like you said. We keep bringing up his name and it's pissing you off even more. But
Fuck Jimmy.
but hear me out. Hear me out. Highsmith in games without Jimmy Butler, 7.8 points per game, 3.9 boards, 1.4 assists. That's above his average in every category. I'd back him tonight. I think it's a solid lean.
As long as you're backing a Heat player, I have no problem with it. I'll co-sign the move. All right, guys. Well, there was one more game scheduled for tonight. that was going to be the Charlotte Hornets traveling to LA to take on the Lakers. As many of you know, or if you don't know, you're finding out now. Now you know. That game has been postponed. And we just want to give our thoughts and prayers to everybody that's dealing with the wildfires in Los Angeles. I actually saw something on social media last night, literally brought a tear to my eye. Like a horse left in a stable, fire all around, and next to him what was another horse, but obviously gone. And it really, really, really is a fucked up situation out there. Thoughts and prayers to everybody going through it, those affected. As soon as I saw that, honestly, it wasn't even one of those donation commercials or anything, but immediately I got on with Red Cross myself. It's just, how could you look at that and not feel compassion in some way, shape, or form? So again, anyone in LA, or if you have family in LA, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone. Well, that's it for us. That's Shark. That's Luke Shuey. I, of course, am J.A. Cavalier. This has been NBA Player Performance for Thursday, January 9th. We'll see you back here tomorrow, January 10th on Friday, as we break down the entire NBA card. But until then, remember that with your heads, not above them. Also, yesterday's a memory. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. You're here now. Let's make it count.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my